What?
Hey, everybody, listen to the Combo Wombo podcast. I'm Chip Monk. With me, as always, is the Mr. Gimpy.
What's up, bro?
What's happening, bro?
I gotta have that little sip of coffee before we get to starting. You know what I mean?
Nice, dude. I got some cold brew and just a red cup, dude. A solo cup. It's an
Red
orange
solo cup?
Yeah, party cup, dude.
It's all right, man. It's a solo orange party cup, dude. That's the roofie cup right there. That's where we keep
I'm roofing myself with some caffeine, bro. Like I'm trying to get after it, dude. Do the opposite of a Cosby, dude. Whatever that would be, dude.
For sure. So, dude, the last
Way
time
to
we
derail
talked,
the pod, dude.
no.
Dude.
The last time I was formulating a thought. So the last time we spoke about just game dev and stuff, I was like, I'm going to take a break until the end of the year and get going. Well, that break lasted a lot shorter than I thought. So
What's up with that, dude?
The wheels have been spinning, man. The wheels have been spinning.
Wheels turning, dude.
So let me tell you before I forget, because
let me tell
our
you
experience
something,
doing
brother.
multiplayer with GDevelop, while we got it done, while we got things synced, it was finished.
Damn.
We all agreed that the experience was poor.
It was not
Syncing
optimal.
was poor. The documentation was poor. It just didn't seem, while it worked, and the winner of that jam had a fantastic game, and looking on the Discord and stuff, he had no problems with it, right?
Nice.
And that comes from, and that's awesome, right? But that comes from him using the program quite a bit too, you know? And
the whole experience felt impoverished.
so I thought, well, maybe I need to, maybe it was us, right? Maybe it was me, because I did most of the coding for it. So I'm like, maybe it was me. So I went and tried to use different multiplayer engines with Gamemaker and with Godot. And this is my first time ever actually using Godot. And I have to tell you, I'll go over Gamemaker first because I did the local multiplayer for my kids, that little game that I made.
Yeah, on their tablets and stuff.
Using my NAS as a hosting server and stuff. So
nice.
Shout out to...
Do you think I need a NAS? Should I build one?
Oh, if you have like, dude, mine, I just got from my old job because we were getting rid of everything. I'm like, I'll take this. So mine is just like a NAS of convenience, and I've reworked it into different things. Like it's like a media network, holds my old photos, holds ROMs, and now it holds a multiplayer server for my kids. So
yeah, I mean, I have like a whole
and I use it for
desktop.
AI now. Thanks for that.
Oh,
you inspired me. I got
some llama or something on there.
Yeah. Yep.
Sheesh. Yeah, they got like a 3.5B models and stuff now. And like, I don't know, like if you have like 16 gigs of RAM or something, you can do pretty good stuff on there. Like,
I
at least like fun little things.
Voice, so my kids could ask, "Hey, I want to play this movie." It'll scrape the internet for torrent and grab it. So
You're living in the future,
cool.
Dude.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I owe that to you. That's Computer. Like not a non-game dev stuff, but I got that whole idea from you. So let me give you your flowers like that.
Dang, bro, thanks.
But yeah, you can even use a Raspberry Pi for it, bro.
Yeah, get a Pi.
Yeah, just if you have like a Pi line around, you can just make a NAS with that for sure. But if you want some power, I suppose you could do it. But I feel just with your space right now, because that it generates heat, like at least my NAS does. So it's in a storage room that has, so I don't care. But I imagine if you don't have like the room for it, like the heat generated from it, if you're constantly using it, may be a bit much.
All right,
that's just for me. Yeah. But yeah, so I tried a different solution. This guy, Evoleo, I'm probably saying it wrong, but he made Warp. It's an extension in Gamemaker. He just recently updated it to version 7.0. He added a lobby system, he uses MongoDB for the database for hosting a server and creating accounts, and you can create live accounts and things. And he actually has matchmaking working.
All right, dude.
So I'm like, holy crap. And then he did a live stream a couple weeks ago just showcasing how you use it. So I watched the entire live stream. It was captivating for me. And I was like, you know what? Let me try this. So I loaded up Gamemaker. I just made like a little, just two platformer characters, and I just wanted them running around, right? And I used
spill the beans. How'd it go? What happened?
And locally, and then I went out and used my phone as internet and used my laptop.
Oh, come on, bro. Give us some mustard, man. What happened, bro?
Syncing was perfect. The user creation
platform running around.
Yeah, the user creation. I could set up like a high score table tied to a name really easily. control syncing and things were just fine. Obviously, I'm doing like 2 players, but and maybe it's because I already know Gamemaker, but dude, I did this in probably 3 hours.
It must have taken you weeks, dude.
It took in GDevelop. It took what 3 days for us just to get the syncing working. Even and then it still had issues.
A little jittery and stuff.
It was jittery, yeah, but it was smooth. Nice. I had more functionality than I did in GDevelop, and it just works. So if anyone's using GameMaker, highly suggest, and you want multiplayer, I highly suggest checking out Warp. It's on GitHub. Evoleo, Evoleo, created it. So shout out to that guy. And then I was like, okay, so I just did it in GameMaker. That was pretty easy.
Yeah.
And someone made this, right? GameMaker has its own built-in thing using the Opera GX browser, and then there's another like using sockets, and that's a lot more complicated. I thought Warp was just, it just made sense to me. Yeah. So that's if I do multiplayer, it will be using that my next go around. Now, I thought, what's the most popular indie game engine right now? Obviously, you got Unity, and we got Godot. So we've been talking off and on about this pod that eventually we see that roads leading us to Godot, and I thought, okay, let's see what they're doing. So I found using the paid courses that I had through Zenva, they just added multiplayer tutorials for Godot using. So experience with Godot. It took me a little bit to get used to nodes, and I had to do just make your first game tutorial just to see where the hell everything was. Yeah. But once I got into it, so I made a lobby system, used the same assets I made for the Gamemaker game just to make the platformer and just make the characters move around. And they handle it through, you have like a network node that links into scenes. And you just code on the node itself, then you have a piece of code pointing to that network node. So everything syncs through one thing. So you don't have it like how GDevelop had, where everything was in the same event script or event tree. This one was separated. It was segmented. So you wouldn't have like your player character controls with a multiplayer object every time. And I thought that was way better. The lobby system was pretty simple once I got used to coding. And as far as 2v2, I did the exact same test where I used mobile, and I went outside of my home and tried it, and no issues, dude. And when I did have issues, right, because it was me just not knowing like how to code in Godot, right? I had like syntax was wrong or something. I had some syncing issues, but that's because I didn't add the like player 2 character node to the network node or whatever. So it just like it was working on server side, but then like P2 it just wasn't syncing with everyone else. So I just had to correct that, and worked fine. No issues. Now the thing is, that I didn't get to test, and I'm not sure because I didn't do enough research, is what GDevelop has over the other things is they have built-in rollback, which as for fighting games is the big thing, or just it's networking in general. It's just it feels much smoother, and I don't know if either one supports rollback, but that's purely because I didn't look into it. I just wanted to test to see how easy it was to get connected, and as far as
a lot of networking stuff now has rollback. Like
I think so too, but I don't want to just go out and say it has rollback too. So that's the plus with GDevelop right now with their multiplayers. If you can figure out, it has rollback. So when it works, it worked very smooth. Our own game, if you played it and you got desynced, it was my first time doing it. I didn't know, right? So that's just bad coding on my part, and I admit that. But other options for the engines that I know, and actually Godot is pretty easy to use. So shout out to those guys. I really enjoyed working in it.
I know with their last update, it became a little bit more like Unity. And so
that's what I've heard.
Split the community as well. They're like,
really?
Bullshit. They try to make this more like Unity. It's like, all right, UI wise, like, I don't know. There's some design decisions and stuff like that they have made, dude.
For Unity.
For Unity. There's nothing wrong with like stealing from people who've been doing it for like a decade plus or whatever. Like, I'm sure like they've had like probably spent like hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars, like doing user surveys with like all levels of the industry to like try and optimize like what the engine is, like
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
to like be like, oh, this is really good design. Like good design is just good design, right? Like it's
Yeah. Yeah.
it doesn't. It's just I don't know. It's weird. It's weird that like everyone becomes like weirdly tribal for things. Like they're
Sure.
like, oh,
Sure.
it can't
They
be
do.
anything
And
like this.
it's because you if you like the product you like, right, you feel like you have to protect it because when people don't like it, they feel attacked themselves because they like it, and that's what it's just part of life, man. That's just the human experience. People just want to defend what they like, and I understand that. But for me, being completely new, going to the current
I
version
like
of
what I
Godot,
like.
I thought it was solid. There's some sorting issues and some like but Gamemaker has that too, right? Where if your project gets too big, you could get if you're not focused on organization, that shit gets hard to read.
Bad
Unless,
bitch is
like,
the only thing I like, dude.
but I use like a game manager and stuff, so I try and organize it my way. So I think using Godot more, I will organize a lot better. But shout out Godot, my first time using it. Thought it was cool.
Yeah.
I'm still sticking with Gamemaker because it's what I know and it's what's working for me. But yeah, solid,
Nice,
and
huh?
the multiplayer was also solid. So I think, Chip, if you and I decide to do a multiplayer game in the future, at least if it's with Godot or if it's with Gamemaker, I am confident in doing it
Nice.
on
Huh?
either side. Now I know you've tried multiplayer in Unity before, and
Yeah.
you got the Bomberman thing working.
Got it
And
working, dude.
do you think with the extended knowledge and using a different engine for multiplayer has helped you in the future, or any gripes or anything for you with the Unity
Unity,
side?
like I think we've covered it before on this podcast, but like when I got multiplayer up and running, and that took me like 3-4 hours, and then like I got to like a certain point of it where I was like, oh, if I want, because like it doesn't have a lot of like I was using like their Photon, which is like a asset store thing, but it's like a third party thing. And they just run like servers. They give you like free credits up to a certain amount. And like if you're just doing development stuff, you'll never come close to using them. But so I was using their back end, and I got stuff up and running in like probably 3 or 4 hours, and then like I know to like build like all that other stuff you're talking about. It's like, oh, it's gonna take me like months or years to do, so I didn't even bother with like a leaderboard or like back end server side stuff where it's like tracking or keeping track of items or drops and all that stuff. That being said, though, just getting like 2 characters up on screen running around together is like fairly trivial in Unity. And I know they just also dropped with Unity 6 like their Unity networking, and that looks even like easier to use.
Sure.
Where you just like literally like right click, or like you have like this is a Unity networking object, and like that's it. Like,
oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
And I read that also supports rollback too, right?
Yeah.
I believe. And I think
so.
with Unity being such a big and industry used thing, like I think a lot of the networking stuff we talked about is kind of trivial if just because it's it's used pretty abundantly.
Yeah, and there's like plugins for everything like Steam and this thing called like Loot Locker, or like your Android stuff, like if you want to do ads or all that other stuff too. Like it's all part of like that feature set, unfortunately. But it's it is what it is. Like it's something to consider when you're making something. Like I don't know, don't try and like shoehorn multiplayer into something later on, right? Like
yes, it very seldom works. We all know the Goldeneye story, where the Goldeneye multiplayer was added in the last month of development, and it was
it's
a banger.
Not networking, dude.
It's
like,
not networking.
If we wanted to do, I found like I was watching that guy who's like breaks down like Nintendo 64 stuff, but basically like it's like the same amount of polygons on the screen that it's drawing instead of like rendering, if that makes sense. Where it's like the screen size is like whatever it is, like was it like 320 by like 240? So it's like always just drawing like that amount of like vertices, like that the pure math.
The full
the full screen.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
So it's like from rendering from that perspective, it's kind of trivial, but like it's still like a feat in and of itself.
It's a feat because they use 4 different cameras for each character, and that's shout out that guy from Rare.
Hell yeah, dude, crushing the game.
Yeah. So I
really made it a standard, dude. Like for
100%
forward of like couch
100%.
co-op, like for shooters.
Yep.
Changed the whole industry. Like I feel like without that there'd be like no Halo co-op, and without Halo co-op, like we'd probably like branch off into a different world where like everyone's playing Unreal Tournament 2004 on the Sega Dreamcast with the keyboard and mouse, dude.
Yeah, might be right.
Call that like the I don't know, the Goldeneye timeline.
Love it. Speaking of Unreal, Epic actually did something good for the world recently. They released Unreal Tournament and the original Unreal for free.
For free.
I don't know if it's like open source. They open sourced it and it's under the GPL license or something like id used to do back in the day with their old id Tech engines. But you could just freely download Unreal Tournament and play. So I thought that was cool.
I know they've had like the newest Unreal in their back end, like on their GitHub, and you could pull that for a while now.
Yeah.
So I've been watching like people and be like, oh, this is what the Unreal, because they like as soon as Fortnite started like pulling up truckloads of money, they just dropped it.
Yep.
They're like all hands on deck, dude. Like this whole Viking boat is rated like a golden island, dude. Like literally found a fountain of youth. All the gold,
because arena shooters are not in vogue right now, and a
lost civilization. Bones of a dinosaur.
So I played the hell out of the new Unreal that was just being made by the community.
Yeah,
and obviously it's bare bones, but I had a lot of fun with it. But when you get into boomer shooters and arena shooters in general, you get a lot of people who never stop playing it. So a lot of times you just get into just god lobbies, so nothing but monsters. So.
You see what's lurking, dude. There are a lot of sleeping dragons out there, dude.
Exactly. So, and sometimes I'm a sleeping dragon. Sometimes I'm just that knight coming in trying to slay it, right? But
you don't want the smoke.
Doesn't matter what the lobbies are. But I remember the last time Fable we were talking about, before we did our 1v1 on Quake 3. I was like, oh dude, I still play Unreal Tournament every now and then. And I loaded it up and then immediately just like double kill, triple monster kill. He's like, what the fuck? It's like, dude, you don't know how much I played of this. It's like you thought I played a lot of Halo. It's like, bro, you don't know. You do not know.
It's true, dude.
So
it's damn true. Yeah. So I don't know. Like Unreal's done this stuff before, like with like. I don't know if you ever messed with their marketplace, but they have like their Paragon assets. They dropped all those for free.
That's right.
The back source, Infinity Blade. They've also have that there, which is like their old mobile game. Like all their assets and stuff is like available, like to freely download and use like in your own projects. Like from just if you're making like all the money, dude. Like you're like, oh yeah, who cares? We spend like tens of millions on stuff. Like it gets more people using our engine and like possibly because like they're thinking like on the back end they're getting like 3%. On everything you sell using their engine or whatever, if like it makes like $1 million or whatever.
Sure.
I don't know. I don't remember the details. Read it up on it. And then they're also hoping like you get plugged into like their bigger ecosystem and use like their store, which is still trash. Like somehow, like they're getting robbed, dude. I don't know who over there is in charge of dealing with like their contractors and shit, dude. But like, there's no reason that their marketplace should be as off. Like they just switched up their entire marketplace. Like I think it's called like Fab now. And it's garbage. It's straight up like it's broken and like they just launched like a few months ago or maybe it was weeks now. But it's bad, man. It's real bad. And like even like their like documentation and stuff because like Unreal uses nodes. It's like it's just pictures of nodes. Like this is horrible. Like you guys couldn't pay somebody to like make you a web thing that like just drops in like a what's like a mermaid diagram? Like you can make like somebody who has like a mermaid diagram, like you can draw like a note.
In a while, yeah,
dude, like something like that. Anything really, dude.
For sure.
Like, I don't know. It's like you're literally $1 billion corporation. Like you can't like figure this shit out. Like, why is the documentation so bad, dude? Like, how come like?
I swear, if there's someone who that's their job, right? Like documentation writer, they must be making money hand over fist because the big issue across everything that we use right now, there's no fucking documentation for.
Yeah, man.
Even like at my day job,
is this like a
consequence? We write the documentation, but no one wants to. It's like we did the work, it just works. Just use that, use the notes in there. No, you need to document it. So we have like our own internal wiki that myself and my coworkers maintain that is super helpful now, right? But like building it was a pain in the ass, and no one. I feel the industry in general, just in tech, right?
Yeah.
Don't want to do this. And
is this
how do
because
you train
of
the next generation? You can't.
The SOS, the software as a service or whatever.
Yeah.
I think that's a consequence of that. Because like if you're like constantly updating and changing your software, like doesn't make as much sense. Because then like you have to have like a full-time person just doing documentation.
Yes, and
like,
you should.
Yeah.
You should, yes.
It turns out if you're selling software, you should probably like have it like, and it should be up to date like every time.
And I hate the ADD generation, man. Like right now, because
Yeah.
everything's a video tutorial. Fuck you. Write it down. I would much rather read. I would much rather read it than watch a video. I watch all those tutorials at 2x speed, dude, just because it takes so damn long. I would read it much faster and I could iterate on it. I don't understand why everyone just got lazy. I do understand because it's easy, right? It's easier to make a video, but fuck,
it's weird, man. It's weird. It's weird. Like everyone just like stopped doing like the little things right. You know, I don't know. Is that like a symptom of like bigger things going wrong? And like we're kind of seeing them like a lot of AAA games and shit that are coming out where you're like, how's this so bad? And it's like they can't even do the little things like documentation. You think they're gonna be able to like manage anything else, dude? Like, you think they're gonna be able to hit deadlines and like develop software?
For sure.
And then it's like, you know, even the back end of that, like we're saying, is like when they onboard new people or like, you know, because like these bigger projects take like 3 to 5 years. So like people leave, people change jobs, people get promotions, you know, people get married or have kids or like, you know, life circumstances change. And then they leave and now you got to bring somebody else on to do like their job and like, oh, we don't have any documentation. Oh, we don't have like any idea like how this API even functions. Oh, like all the senior people we fired to save money last quarter. There's like, I call it like the numbers in between a spreadsheet that I think like corporate doesn't really see because they look at like everyone's like budgets and paychecks as like numbers on a spreadsheet, but there's a lot of institutional knowledge you lose when you like fire a bunch of senior people to save money, dude.
And that's what they bank on. A lot of people don't write it down because they have that institutional knowledge, so their job's secure. Coming from the financial industry, that 100% is a thing.
I've heard that like for coding as well. Like some people like to code badly, so only they understand it. And they're like, oh, this way only I can deal with it.
They obfuscate it themselves. For sure. There is actually something that I was reading in a different. I can't say exactly what, but it was just through work. But looking at someone else's coding, they typoed on purpose, so it wouldn't make sense too. And I thought, okay, maybe they just typoed. They just didn't know how to spell this, right? And then I'm like, oh no, this is in everything they wrote. So I'm like, this motherfucker, he did this on purpose so that only he would understand it, right? And then using like if you know a different language, right, they use like different stuff. So I thought, interesting, you know, just okay, you wanted to keep your job this way, so it is what it is. But with our final
job,
like, minute or two here that we have, Chip, anything that you're playing this week or anything you're working on that you want to share?
I was playing Mini Metro a little bit.
What is Mini Metro?
I don't know. It's where you're drawing like lines to subways and stuff, dude. Like,
is this mobile or PC or?
It looks like a mobile game, but I'm playing it on PC.
Okay.
It's pretty fun. I don't know. It's just like a chill, minimalist game.
Okay.
I don't know, I bought it on Steam and then I watched like this YouTube video of this guy talking about how Good Old Games is losing World of Warcraft 2, but they're gonna because Blizzard like was like
Warcraft 2.
Yeah, Warcraft 2. We call it World of Warcraft. You know, the one with the orcs and the goblins and the humans or whatever.
The RTS, paladins. I got you. Yeah.
The old school RTS 1 and 2. You know, I guess Blizzard changed the deal like Darth Vader. They're like, oh yeah, Microsoft
this is owns them now.
They're like, pray we don't change the deal anymore. So Good Old Games is like, yeah, if you buy it here, like we're going to constantly support it, but like we have to pull it like in a couple of weeks here for the agreement. And then the guy was like talking about this, and he's like, it's weird that Good Old Games is like doing like as a selling point, like our marketing is like we want to like keep games like DRM free that you buy here and like you keep them. And they're like, the guy was like, what would it take for you to like switch out of Steam and get to, you know, Good Old Games? You know, what's preventing you from doing that? And I just bought that Mini Metro and I was like on Steam and I was like, he's right. Fuck it, dude. So I like refunded the game on Steam and I went and bought it on Good Old Games. I was like, because like, I don't know. It's like 1,000 little choices like that. But, you know, aside from that, I've been playing a lot of Quake 2, the RTX version. I bought that on Steam. No, I keep getting lost because I got a old man brain and I've never really played Quake 2. Like I jumped right into 3.
Okay.
Like I went from like Doom to Quake 3.
Okay. So have you ever played Quake 1?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I just went to Quake 3
Quake 2. I think Quake 1's better.
All I did was play Quake 3, like and nonstop, and then like Unreal. I played like a lot of Unreal 1, 2, and then 2K14 or whatever it was, 2K4.
2K4. Yep.
Where they tried to be like an EA game and come out like every year, but they realized like they don't have the project management skills to fucking run a marketplace, let alone standard releases.
For sure. Yeah. Okay. No, that's awesome. And you're enjoying it?
Yeah, Quake. Yeah, it is. It's a great game.
Fantastic game.
RTX looks amazing. It looks like better than a lot of modern games, dude. Somehow.
Yeah.
There's like parts like you'll come
choices,
through.
Right?
Yeah, because it's like consistent, right? Like. So you're like, oh shit, as long as it's consistent, then like the way like the lights and shit hit on certain parts where you're like, fuck, this is cool. Like there's certain like just looks that I want still their whole vibe, dude. But take their whole beat for beat, flow,
bar for bar.
All of it, dude. I'm snag that dude. I'm gonna grab that mic right up off their arm.
It's
become the greatest MC.
It's a staple for a reason, man.
To ever sing these bars. What about you, man? What you been on?
I will say, just to go on your Quake story, well, I played all those games on release and was a big fan growing up. As a kid, I liked Quake 2 more than Quake 1. As an adult, I like Quake 1 more than Quake 2.
All right.
Level design is why I thought Quake 1's was more with using its old like kind of castle like look, because initially it was supposed to be an RPG, right? Like a dungeon crawler RPG. So they had that. I thought that was unique, and nothing
Quake
else.
Hammer, dude.
Yeah, nothing else in the space really does it anymore because everything went industrial, like Quake 2, and Quake 2's soundtrack's a banger though, right?
Yeah, Nine Inch Nails, dude.
I know Sonic Youth did Quake 2. Nine Inch Nails did Quake 1, and it was all industrial.
Okay,
it was just industrial sounds, which was great. But that Sonic Youth soundtrack's crazy. But
I think they took it out of the Steam version. Again, not only like the DR.
No,
did they put it back in finally, or you have to download something separate?
No, but it's there. It's there.
All right.
Yep. If you bought like the new version, it's there.
Yeah. All right.
But yeah, man, I'm happy you're playing it. Fantastic games. If you're looking at games from that era that you haven't played, I can recommend a shit ton. But with what I've been playing lately, I talked last week about Stalker 2. The game's fantastic. There's some jankness to it, but I expected that because it's such a large game, but very fun so far. The Indiana Jones game came with my video card that I just got, so I've been playing that. I switched to playing it on console because the kids were watching me, so I was like,
it's like a little movie.
Bring upstairs. So they haven't seen Indiana Jones yet, but they're enjoying me playing the game. So I'm gonna show them Indiana Jones pretty quick here. So that's been fun. I've been having a good time with that. As far as the creating front, still doing just art on the cozy game I'm working on. I think I nailed the design for the animals that I want. It's easy to replicate, and I've been practicing just doing sprite work with it. So I've been just iterating just so I can, it becomes easy just to go boop, 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 right? So good stuff. I'm looking forward to that. I think I'll probably do like a viable product sometime next month once I have this art styles down. I have and finish the game design doc because it's still mostly in my head. But and actually I've had a musical kind of creative spree. I've been kind of just making music for it, just some cozy sounds, a lot of string instruments, a lot of
just vibes, dude,
happy harps and stuff like that. So just vibing, man, just vibing.
That's what's up.
Having a good time. All right, brother.
Damn.
I think
creative wise, I haven't been doing nothing, dude. I've been just vibing, dude.
It's all right, man. It's the end of the year,
I'm trying to get into games and relax, dude.
Yeah. Appreciate that, man. I love that. All right, bro. That's been the Combo Wombo podcast. I'm Mr. Gimpy. Let's
Chipmunk.
Like, share, subscribe, and
Peter
follow us on
here,
Twitter, bitches.
All right, later,
everybody. We out of here.
I'm done.